So here's the first look and review of my presentation today. I'm so excited. So we have Meet the CSP, that's me. I took that picture in La Jolla of my sister and brother-in-law. It's just so beautiful there. I guess before I start, I'll start with the fact that before I came to the CSP, I worked as a janitor, and I think that was really helpful for me in life because helpful for anybody. I think everybody should be a janitor at some point in their lives because it teaches you to respect, the earth and your surroundings, and to learn how to clean up after yourself because you realize it's really annoying when you have to clean up for other people's messes. I did that for a while. I was a preschool teacher at the church for a while. I have worked in the coffee bar for like 14 years on Sundays and throughout the week. I used to do that, and I was also a companion to a 93-year-old that had dementia and had broken her hip, and she constantly forgot that she broke her hip, so I was there for half a day at a time, just reminding her of that fact and making sure she didn't injure herself, or she could heal properly after her surgery. Then came USC. So I was hired for the child in 2009 for the Childhood Cancer Survivor Study, and I was promised about 4 months of work, which is just a cool experience. I mean, having the opportunity to come work for USC was cool, and we ended up receiving additional funding, so we were able to stay. I was able to stay employed for a whole year, and then funding ran out, and I had to. I left for a while, and I came back about a month later, and was able to work in the actual CSP, in like the file room back in the old CHP building, and that was an interesting experience. And then we moved over to the building we're in now, and I had I guess I had some kind of skills or ability to talk a lot. So my boss, Sue, at the time, asked me if I would phone for one of their studies, and that was called the no, it's not that one, but long-term follow-up study for the Long-Term Follow-Up Center, which is a part of the Children's Oncology Group, COG, and that was really interesting. It was a different kind of perspective. Before, I was just doing data entry and mailings and, just seeing names on a paper and on a spreadsheet. It's really different from, talking to people, hearing their stories, understanding what they've been through, if they're in remission, and just to improve overall life, survivability after cancer. During that time, I was also asked to be a part of the Parkinson's disease study, which is a cohort of, or a sub-branch of the California Teacher Study, and get people to participate in that one as well, so that we could follow patients that might have had Parkinson's disease at the time. And that was really interesting. So I did that for a while, and then I started doing some different things. I started working in PathRes and purchasing. So I was working with Sarah in purchasing, and that was really interesting because you have to be very detail oriented. You're giving reimbursements to people, and so it's very important to be really calculated and to know your numbers. PathRes was interesting because I was really learning about how cancer is reported and how to code that. Just, basic things of, when, just basic things, that's all. All these pictures I took myself. That one's of downtown LA from the CSP building. We have some of the best sunsets here, especially being on the 3rd floor, so I often work, the latest that I can, and I get to see some just really beautiful colors in the sky, so I try to capture them whenever I get a chance. And then I guess in PathRes, I had worked with someone named Michelle at the time, and I had a lot of questions. I had so many questions. I'm very detail oriented. I love doing something thoroughly and accurately. So I had a lot of questions for someone that constantly just showed me so much patience and had such clear answers, and I just felt like knew exactly what they were doing all the time. So they asked me to join the QC team. That's called Quality Control, and I have just been so grateful, felt so blessed to be a part of like this team. I think I've been here for almost 3 years now. Here's some of my pictures with with my team from different places, from DC and Mars retirement lunch about a month ago, and then this one was from New Orleans. So that's just been fun to get to know coworkers in different capacities too. And during this time, Marilyn Donna recommended that I take the Cancer Information Management program at Santa Barbara City College, and so I did that for a couple years, and I finally got my my CTR credential in July of 2017. So that's my work scope. My college and education, maybe I'll have this be like a zoom in thing. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll zoom that one. So then Oh, okay. So I went to school, graduated from kindergarten, 8th grade, and high school. And actually in high school, after graduation, we had to go back to the school and pick up our diploma, and I went, and they wanted me to pay like $250 for 3 books that I did not have that I didn't even take out. One was for a class that I wasn't even in, another was for a class that I took like a year prior, and then I don't remember what the last one was, but I thought, you know what? You can have my diploma. I don't need a piece of paper. I walked. I'm good. See you later. And I ended up getting 2 more degrees after that. So, I guess I'm okay. So after high school, I went to Citrus College, and I got an Associate of Arts degree in Social and Behavioral Sciences. And then I went to Cal State LA and got my Bachelor of Arts in Communicative Disorders. So that's focusing on speech-language pathology. And I was really interested in that because I decided that I really couldn't be a teacher because, teaching, 40 plus students, just me was not appealing to me and not one of my strong suits. I really like being one-on-one with, people, little humans, and having that kind of interaction and, teaching. So that was a really cool experience. I got into the speech language pathology assistance program, but I didn't finish it. There were just a lot of scheduling challenges, and my work at USC was really, busy and picking up, and so I didn't quite finish the program, but I got hired on here full time, and gosh, I've just grown so much, so I can't really complain, about it. And then, transitions. And then, yeah, after that, some things that, really bring me joy are my family life. So I have kind of a big, immediate family. I'm the oldest of three. I have, three biologically. I have a younger brother, and he's married and has three kids, and I have a younger sister who is married and just had her first son, whom we visited and saw being born, and but we also have kind of an extended family. So we have my sister here, Ariel, and her daughter, Allie, and my siblings, who you guys may recognize, Justin and Jenilyn. They became a part of my family several years ago, and we get together each week just to connect and have family night and be with the kids, and for just a really, really close family. Here's my grandpa, and he's with four of the grandkids. That's Allie, Araya, Ezekiel, and Ellis. Aren't they cute? And this is the newest of our family. His name is Luca Garco, and he belongs to my sister Shelby. They live in Japan. My brother-in-law Ryan is a Marine, and they have been stationed all over. They started out stationed in Miramar and San Diego, moved around there a couple times, and we were so blessed to be able to have them, just a couple hours away. But then he got orders to go to Japan for 3 years. So they've been there about a year. He has another couple of years on his contract, and we got to visit them a few months ago, and I'll talk about that in a couple slides. So this is when Luca was born. He is 4 months old now, like, to the day. So, and most of my free time, whenever I actually have it, goes to my nieces and nephews. This is my niece Allie when she was really little, with my dog Zeus, and it was just such a sweet picture. He's never really that calm, and neither is she, but they have a good time together. And then those are my nieces, Araya and Allie, and that's on our way to Disneyland. And then these two are siblings. That's in Laguna Beach at my grandpa's house, and then that's baby Ellis. So she's almost 1 year old, and she's FaceTiming with my youngest nephew, Luca, in Okinawa. Like, thank the Lord for FaceTime. It just it's hard being away from family, but we have a lot of tools at our disposal to just be able to connect and talk to, people that are half a world away, I also spent my time as a high school youth leader. I really love the kids, the high schoolers in particular. Junior high is kind of hard for me. But I did that for about 5 years. I recently took a break just to focus on some other things within the church. But yeah, I've just really loved it. I love my team. Here's a picture of us last year in Idlewild, and there's us in Venice, just traveling around, and then I think this one's Big Bear with the junior high and high school. And yeah, I've always been pretty active in my church. Love being a part of like the young adult ministry, and just with my high schoolers, I felt like I was really poured into and encouraged my entire life, but really specifically and intentionally during my high school and college, and even junior high years. And I just wanted to be able to give that back to students of the same age, because it's such a hard age. There's so much that happens and so much that you just don't understand, and just, it's so good to have people there that care about you, that just want to pour into you. I'm a pastor's kid. My dad's the pastor of my church, and he's been there for, I think, almost 30 years now, 29 years, I think. And he comes from a long line of pastors, 5 generations as far as I can think back. So that's been an interesting, experience. I think I've kind of wanted to experience a lot of things in life that weren't good for me. Maybe because I was a pastor's kid, and people have this idea that you're just a goody goody, which is stupid. Who cares? But that's life. I grew up. I'm here now. I'm pretty proud of myself. So, I also really enjoy creating short movies. So I just started doing this kind of fun because I love taking pictures and taking movies of things that I do, or things that the kids do, or things that I experience, and then putting them together to like kind of summarize it and like post it on social media, or just for myself, just for friends' birthdays, or different things. I really have a lot of joy in doing that. So here's just a couple short ones that I made. I hope that they play. Here they are. This first one, was when I traveled to Avila Beach to visit my aunt and uncle who live there now. Avila Beach is kind of by SLO, so San Luis Obispo area. And then this one I made for my friend's birthday. We went kayaking in La Jolla, and I was really nervous. I love being at the beach and the ocean, but I don't really like being in the ocean. My fear of sharks is very real to me. I love Shark Week, but I'm also terrified because I know what's out there. And one of our friends originally said that I thought he said that we were gonna be kayaking in Mission Bay, which is not connected to the ocean, has pretty much zero chance of having a shark in it. So I was, kind of warming up to that idea. And then he said, no, actually, we're going to La Jolla. And I was petrified. But it ended up being a really good experience. We didn't dump. We didn't get attacked by a shark or anything. But we got to see some really fun things. And I was just really glad that I chose to go through with it. Sometimes like fear can be really debilitating, so you don't want to take risks, and it would have been easy to just do that and just sit back and be bored on the beach for a while my friends went. But I decided to go, and I was just so grateful for the experience. So this is something that I made because my friend was in the front, pretty much doing most of the work because kayaking is exhausting in the ocean. Yeah. So yeah, we got to see some seals and have them swim all around us and under us, and go through a cave, and wow, it was just beautiful. And then we got back, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure sharks eat seals. So I'm really glad that, like, my mind was protected from that fact while I was out there, because that would have made it so much harder. We survived. We're good. It was great. Something else that I like to do is go to Disneyland. I've been hundreds of times since I've had a pass for years, and I've loved going as an adult with like friends or family. But I love it even more now that I can, take the kids, because it's just like magic to them. And my nieces and nephews are so sweet, and grateful for every experience. Yeah, we just have a great time. So these are two of my favorite pictures from going. This is me and my friend, and they always have you pose somewhat silly, like you're holding something or you're afraid of something. But I found a good, border to go around it. So I thought it was perfect. And I gave this to my friend for Christmas. And it was in an actual snow globe, so it's kind of cool. And then this one is my niece Araya and me with Pluto, and he's tickling her. She was really shy and nervous about him, but he started tickling her, and she kept saying, "Goofy, tickle my eyes," and she just had a great time, and it was just wonderful. Yeah. Another thing that takes up a lot of my time that I really enjoy doing is going to concerts and shows. I took this picture from one of the Coldplay shows that I went to from further back. I had gone 1 year and been really close to the stage, and that was such a cool experience. But I wanted to kind of be further from the stage to get, because I could see that there was so much going on that I couldn't see just when you're like so close. So I got further seats, and I was able to take these pictures of the fireworks. It's just, they really put on a great show. It was just so entertaining. The first year that I went, so I've been to several shows. I'll just highlight one, a Coldplay show. I've been to 150 shows for over 100 artists, and not all of them are that big, obviously, but I really enjoy it. I love my music, and love seeing things live and experiencing that with friends, and a couple of times I've just gone on my own because I was able to score like a ticket to a show, and that's been a unique experience too, because I'm an extrovert and I really love being around people, so doing things by myself is not something that I really look forward to doing all the time, but it's been cool for me to learn like how like wonderful life can be when you do things outside of your normal comfort zone. So the first show we went to, that's me. And I'm super excited because we are like 7 rows back from the stage. Like, this is Coldplay, and that's Chris Martin, whom I just love and adore. And I was just stoked. I mean, I think I probably cried like half the show just because I was just so excited. And like, I knew that I was there. I knew that I chose that, but like, I was just floored. Getting to experience that, and like having enjoyed their music for, the past like 15 years, like it just is a kind of surreal experience, for me. And I got to take my dad to that one, and we got to like just sharing experiences is so cool, and being able to like give to your parents who have given you everything, has been something that's really important to me as I get older, and so that was so cool because I was like, I don't know, 10 feet from him, here, and just like really in awe. And then so on Coldplay's like Facebook and Instagram pages, they posted this like fun picture after like the show in LA, and it's so beautiful, like just so colorful, such a They have these things called Xylo bands that like everybody gets, and they like light up and change colors depending on like what's happening in the show. Just a really cool experience. And I was like, okay, so all right, the photographer's at the front of the stage, and he's taking a picture of Chris Martin back here, and I feel like we're somewhere in the crowd, like me and my dad, and I realized like, yep, we sure are. That's the back of my head. My hair was a different color, and that's my dad just recording. But I was like, how crazy! Like there are, gosh, there were like 65,000 people there at the Rose Bowl a few years back, and we're just in this picture, you know, like what? It was just wonderful. Anyway, I didn't think life could get any better at that point. Most of my life, I don't ever feel like it can get any better than any given amount of time, but I realize sometimes it just does. Sometimes there are definitely like hard days and hard times and really sad moments in life. You know, I know that we all go through a lot of loss and hardships, but I think this kind of moment what really really solidified for me that it's important to go through and experience those like really hard times, those really painful moments, times, years, in order to experience like so much joy, you know. So anyway, that was great. Then the next day, I had planned to go see one of my high school students who was in the hospital at CHLA, California Children's Hospital, or Children's Hospital Los Angeles, they were. And so I went, and it was like a very serious situation. He almost died. The CDC had to like come in and, you know, make sure he was all cleared and okay and stuff. And he was actually recovering. He got better. He was going to be released that day. So I wanted to go visit him while I was still there. And so I got there, and his mom told me that they were having some special guests come and visit, a special guest come and visit the kids in their select unit, and it was going to be Chris Martin. And I thought, wow, that's crazy. Like, I just saw him last night, and I'm just like in awe of that experience. But okay, like, you want me to come and, you know, when I visit your son and, you know, see Chris Martin. I thought it was going to be, you know, like a big auditorium kind of thing where he's just like talking to the kids and giving like encouraging notes, or, you know, trying to encourage, you know, kids in like this big thing. And this is what happened. So we ended up in a room of oh gosh, I don't know, 12 people maybe, and he came in and met us all one-on-one and just talked to us for like a half an hour. Just sat there, asked questions, talked about kind of his life a little bit. Just so down to earth, so humble, and I was just I don't even know. I was flabbergasted at like what was happening. That like Chris Martin was like sitting there looking at me and talking to me and asking me questions about Pokemon Go and where I see myself in 10 years and things like that. Just like what is happening? What is my life? And then at the end, he wanted to take pictures with everyone. So he did it, you know, them all individually. And I thought, dang, it'd be really cool if I could, you know, just get him to say hi to my dad, you know, because my dad was a fan. And yeah, just something kind of different than like just a picture, you know, whatever. So I said, can you just say hi, Doug? And this is what happened.
Okay, here you go. Hi, Doug. How you doing? I'm with your daughter, just purely innocent and wonderful.
What's your name?
My name's Chris,
Oh,
from the band, and
you too, right?
yeah, exactly. Thank you for coming to our show. Sure. That's it. Good night.
And so that was so cool. And he was like, isn't it so crazy that we were in the same place last night and here we are in the same place together again? And I was like, yeah, I know it's crazy. I don't know why you're saying that though. So that was really cool. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing I also love to do is travel. Most of the time I just travel along like the California coast. I really love the beach and the ocean and clouds, just things like that. I'm not so much of a camping kind of person, but I love to travel. And I love to go, some of my favorite places have been San Francisco and obviously San Diego and Laguna Beach. My grandparents were really frugal and saved all throughout their time. And they were able to retire in Laguna Beach. My grandpa still lives there, so I go to visit him as often as I can. And here, my sister and brother-in-law in the Marines are stationed in Okinawa. There are several stations there after World War II, several American stations there. And so we wanted to go visit them to see where they live, how they live, experience the culture, and be there for the birth of my sister's first baby. And we couldn't have planned it better. We were there for a week. We got to, walk around, see the sights, experience different things before the baby got there. And then my sister went into labor and it was so quick. She was just so tough. It was super quick. And then we got to take him home and we got hit by a typhoon, which was one of the craziest, scariest experiences of my life. You're on lockdown inside and it's basically like a hurricane but in the Pacific area. And yeah, terrifying. We didn't have too much damage where we were staying, but it was something else. So we were stuck inside for a day and my sister was just recovering for a couple more days, and I'd just like to show you guys some highlights of things that we did and we saw and stuff. So it's Okinawa. This is the Tropical Dream Center. It's kind of at the so Okinawa is a prefecture of Japan. So it's an island. It's a tiny island off of mainland Japan. So it's a part of the Ryukyu Islands and very tiny. I think it's 5 miles wide and 60 miles long. So very tiny, but really populated. Have a lot of people there. So this is the Tropical Dream Center, and it's basically a botanical kind of garden with yep, that's all I can say about it. That was like a tower. I think it used to be like a watchtower back in the day, back several decades ago, but it's just really beautiful, and we just happened to go on a really bright, beautiful day in between storms. It's so green there, so green, and beautiful, but because it's humid all the time or it's raining all the time, it's just very moist, mostly very hot, even when it's raining, but it makes it beautiful, it's tropical. So we had it on a good day, where the clouds were just really clear and the sky was clear and the sun was shining bright. These are some other highlights. This is Araha Beach in Okinawa. And this was like a day before one of the storms that came. Not a typhoon, but just a storm. And I just love clouds. I mean, I love getting different, pictures of like different colors of the water. But like clouds, when they're different colors, are just so bright. I am just so excited for. So that's a panoramic picture that I took of my parents and brother and sister, and yeah, of just I was just in awe. I have so many pictures of just clouds because there were like these like dark and white clouds with like streaks of like obviously pink and yellow and just like, oh my goodness, like just like evidence of like God's creation, like, you know, just like, oh my goodness. And like the sunset, I mean, we just went the perfect time. It was just such an experience, you know. So yeah, we also visited a couple of World War II memorials or memorial parks, and I really love history. I love learning about history, and specifically like the Civil War and World War II are just really interesting times for me. And so this is the Okinawa Prefectural Peace Memorial Park, and this was just beautiful. This is also a day before, right before the storm, or maybe the storm was like coming, I think, because it's kind of cloudy, but just beautiful, serene, really empty, because the storm was coming, I think. But just, I remember we weren't sure we wanted to do it because it was sprinkling and kind of started raining here and there, and we didn't want to get cold or wet or, you know, be outside, obviously. And my sister had the baby by then, so yeah, that was hard. But I'm so glad we got out and walked around. It's so big and just really serene. They've just really, you know, worked hard to create this beautiful place to honor those that had fallen in the Battle of Okinawa and in World War II. So this was just kind of a pond in the area, beautiful, and this is the cornerstone of peace, and there are women outside of the grounds that will sell you flowers and just little things to honor those that had fallen. You can lay it at the monument there. Just really beautiful. And all of those are Japanese cherry blossom trees back there, but we didn't go at the right time to obviously get them when they bloom, but it's still so beautiful even when they're bare. And over here, this is a picture of the names of all the Japanese soldiers that had fallen in World War II. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it was just at the Battle of Okinawa or the entirety of World War II, but they're honored here. And then right across from them were the American soldiers that fell at the Battle of Okinawa, and they had them like organized by you know, what branch of the military they were in, and just really honoring of all sides, like recognizing that war is awful for all, and just honoring those that fell there. We also went to Hacksaw Ridge. There was a movie made recently about it, and the movie was really interesting. But I thought, but anyway, being here was like just such a different experience. It's so solemn. It's incredibly beautiful. Just like, wow, like just gorgeous, you know. But there definitely is like just like a quiet, like just sadness, you know. There's just it's like really heartbreaking, but really really good too. So this is the ruins of Uruso Castle, and along here is like more of the cliff, but it's not as high as, you know, as depicted in the movie. And I thought something that was so interesting is that like just what a beautiful view it has. I mean, that's something that's never shown in the movie because, you know, they obviously want to just highlight the what Desmond Dawes did in saving all those people. So I don't know if you guys know the story, but Desmond Dawes was a conscientious objector to the war, but he wanted to serve, and he got a lot. He got beat up a lot in a lot of different ways for being in the army and not holding a gun, not wanting to, not shooting a gun, just wanting to serve and help people. He was a medic, and it ended up being really, it's just an incredible story. Oh my gosh. He ended up saving, oh, I don't want to give it away. I'll say it on here just because who cares. But he ended up saving over 70 people. Just nobody could survive this like cliff, but he kept pulling people out and lowering them down by himself to safety, or to get, to get healed. So yeah, just really cool. We also went to, this is the Tropical Dream Center again, and the Chirami Aquarium. This is a really beautiful design of the floral arrangements that they had, and there's the little watch post again, and here's a picture I took from within the watch post, and this is from the aquarium. That is a whale shark, I believe, and they were just huge. There was two or three in there, and there's just like this wall of people just like looking at it. It's incredible. It's just really incredible. Oh, and I guess this one deserved a full screen shot. This is from the American Village in Okinawa, and there's a lot to do there. It's a big tourist spot. Have really cool food and just different things to do, and a nice little like Ferris wheel over there that I wanted to ride the entire time we were there, and I finally did at the end. So here are some more highlights. This is American Village. There's the Ferris wheel and palm trees. I love palm trees. They had incredible Indian food and Japanese curry that we got to experience. So that's a jumbo naan that we got and we all shared at one of the restaurants. This was just the outside of one of the restaurants we went to, just really pretty and lit well. And then you're in Japan, so you gotta have sushi. So it's my sister and Luca and sushi. Three of my favorite things. Whew. So yeah, that's about it. And these are just my pictures of Laguna Beach from different times that I've gone and different hours of the day. So thank you for listening.